Lake Erie. By volume, it is the smallest of all the Great Lakes, with an average depth of only 19 meters. Yet it is the most biologically productive of them all, housing in its shallow waters more fish than all the other Great Lakes combined, providing fresh drinking water for nearly 11 million people and supporting some 10,000 jobs worth $1 billion to local economies. It is also the most economically valuable Great Lake, responsible for supporting cities like Cleveland, Ohio, Erie, Pennsylvania, and Buffalo, New York. Now, in late March, the lake is almost entirely a frozen wasteland, its shallow waters making it the only Great Lake to freeze on a regular basis. Like an icy tundra, Erie at this moment appears calm and still, but underneath the ice lurks the most dire threat Lake Erie has ever faced. 50 years ago, this lake was so polluted, tributaries of it would catch fire, and it was declared an ecological dead zone. Since then, its waters have been cleaned of toxins, but where once it was believed not a living thing could stand its waters, now they are overrun by aquatic invasives. Lake Erie currently houses over 120 invasive plants and animals hailing from all corners of the world, from zebra mussels to alewives to round gobies to sea lampreys. Local economies, which depend on this lake's health, have had to spend billions of dollars annually just to mitigate the effects of these creatures. Realistically, they're here to stay. But with the emergence of new invasive ecosystems, our understanding of the effects of invasive species has been changed by Lake Erie. Zebra mussels have made Lake Erie's waters so clean and detoxified, fish catches in recent decades have quintupled, though the mussels still clog pipes and slice the feet of unwary swimmers. Round gobies now ingest the zebra mussels, as do native smallmouth bass. The formerly threatened Lake Erie water snake has been able to recover its population thanks to 90% of its diet being comprised of round gobies. The invasive alewives are the #1 food source of the stocked salmon here, and the sole reason this profitable fishery can sustain itself. One of the greatest lessons Lake Erie has taught us when it comes to invasive species is that prevention is always the best value, as compared to the mitigation of species already here. The species now knocking on Erie's door is the Asian carp, a bottom-feeding fish utterly impervious to extermination methods, which now comprises some 95% of the Mississippi River's biomass. If it made its way into Lake Erie, the consequences could be unlike anything this lake has ever seen. Today, Erie is utterly unrecognizable compared to just 50 years ago, and there's no telling what the lake will look like 50 years into the future. But as we learn more about the way species in this ecosystem interact, we become more prepared to face, and perhaps someday defeat, the ever-present threat of invasive species.